Hey everyone. So the last 24 episodes have had a scripted opening. I'm not scripting this opening. I can't. Honestly, these last 24 videos that I've done, this whole series that I've done has been some of the best videos that I think I've ever made. They told a story. They've started to kind of weave together a timeline of my history and my life, albeit in chunks. In years, I didn't, and not all in a row. Like, I didn't go from here's like the start to the end of my timeline, but I told a story from when I got a little bit before I got my N64 to when I got my N64 up until into high school. So from 1997 until 2005, 2006. So, you know, a 9 or 10 year span. And there you can kind of put together that the span from about 1998 or 99 to 2002 or 2004 maybe is probably the most densely packed with the most memorable games that I've played. But I range wildly on the list from the years. This game, this series, I remember getting the N64, and this game had not come out yet. This game did not come out until '98. I got the N64 in '97. I'm fairly certain. Maybe I got it sooner than that. Or maybe I got this game later than I can think of. Or maybe my perception of time, everything seems slower then, so it just seemed like more time had passed than it really had. But it was after... Was it after my... Now I can't even remember where I placed this game. The bulk of my time playing this game, I remember my parents had already split. They had already been divorced. Me and my dad had moved to the one-bedroom apartment next to Soapy's Car Wash. I told you guys about that place. This game was very much the most played game on my N64. This is no doubt the most played series on anything that I've played. Now, the reason why more games haven't made it onto the list, but say like Paper Mario 1 and 2 both have made it on the list, is because there's so damn many. And I go back and forth, but I used to go back and forth between this all the time. Ocarina of Time is probably my favorite Legend of Zelda, but I really like this one, or I really like that one. I had a lot of fun with the Game Boy Color games, Link's Awakening and Oracle of Seasons or Ages. I can't remember which one individually. I had a lot of fun with those. Oh, but I remember Link to the Past. I remember my earliest memory of gaming is Link to the Past when I was 2 or 3 years old, and we weren't even living in the house that we lived in when I got my N64. This was the apartment previous to that. And I was like 2 or 3. My dad had ankle surgery, so he was cooped up all the time. And he just played Link to the Past. That's my earliest gaming memory, period. I was obviously not... My earliest playing of video games is like... Super Mario Brothers, or maybe Super Mario Brothers, but actually like vaguely remembering games, it's this one, or no, it's Link to the Past. I'm totally skipping by her, by the way. It's Link to the Past, And so I skip between, you know, that every one of them holds a place in my heart. The later ones hold places in my heart. So I just came to the conclusion a while ago that I cannot put them in an order. I cannot put the Legend of Zelda games in order with other games. Now I have my favorites of the series. Like this one's probably at the top of the list. Oracle of Seasons and Ages is probably like third. Wind Waker is probably second. Link's Awakening might be fourth or fifth. You know, so like amongst themselves, I can rank them, but that's the only way I can do that. That's the only way that I can do that. I cannot do that amongst other games. I've tried. I've thought about it. I cannot do it. Not because I don't want to. I've tried. Other games didn't necessarily etch. They etched some of the later ones on the internal list of Legend of Zelda games out. Yeah, like I've not played the Phantom Hourglass or whatever the other one was for the DS. Like I've not played those, so those would be at the bottom of the list. So other games certainly eke them out or etch them out of the list. But I just came to the conclusion that they are all collectively my favorite games at the top of the list. That might seem unfair, but I honestly do not care because it's my list. So, you know, I can't justify making a top 25 list and 6 of those games being Legend of Zelda. Not because they're not all great games, but because there are also so many other great games on my list that I couldn't do it justice. So I always say, what's my top favorite game? Just the Legend of Zelda series. The second is probably like Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3, for example. Like those are like my top two games, and even those I can't like rank. Those have to go together too. But then, so I figured, what game am I gonna play for this? So I came to this one. This is just my internal Legend of Zelda list. This is my top Legend of Zelda game. So it's the one that I'm showcasing for everybody. Now, granted, it's probably a lot of people's favorite game, period, or easily a lot of everyone's favorite Legend of Zelda game, or a lot of people, I don't want to say everybody, a lot of people's favorite Legend of Zelda game. But it was always my favorite Legend of Zelda game. It'll always be my favorite Legend of Zelda game. It just captured my imagination. It was the first time that you truly had an open world game. Now, that's not to say something like Link to the Past wasn't open world, but open world in a different sense. This beats out... No, this doesn't beat out... time-wise, it does not beat out... Or maybe, no, you know what? Jesus Christ. They came about the same time. I can't remember which one specifically. This one or Mystical Ninja. Because now that I'm thinking about it, I associate this game with the one-bedroom apartment and my cousins coming over, and we started the game over and we played it with like the guide and all that. Or my dad bought the guide, right? That's where I most associate this game with my world or my timeline. But we got it when my parents lived together in that 3-bedroom house, in that little community. Like that's when we got the game. I can't like deny that. And I also remember only playing really Mystical Ninja, or when I first got Mystical Ninja and started renting it there. But I can't remember which one came first individually. So they kind of came together. Oh, he's blocking us because we need a sword and a shield. So that's also the reason why I'm picking up money. So, but this one differs from, say, Link to the Past, because Link to the Past was 2D. And now 2D is fantastic. I love pixel art. I love to make pixel art. I love to look at pixel art. Pixel art is one of my favorite art forms. Period. I'm smelling something weird. And it's not Kitty doing something because he's asleep, so it's not Kitty gas. If I was putting titles to these videos, the name of this episode would be Kitty Gas. So yeah, no, 2D is still fantastic and great. 2D will always be and hold like a special place in my heart for something to love. But this was like the first truly like the Z targeting. You had backflipping. You had the sword play. Now the sword play in like Wind Waker is better, but the sword, everything was in 3D for the first time for this series. It was fantastic. It was honestly and truly a sight to behold. And you can't recapture those kind of specific moments. Now, new games might do something different later in your life, and you may recapture like the first time that I was playing an RPG, or I played Pokemon, which was about the same time anyways, or a little bit later. What's a game that really left? Fallout, for example, left a huge impression on me. But I mean, obviously it came after. It came well at 10 years after this. But that's, you still can't undersell something like that, right? Because that just left a different impact. But at the time, this left like, this is video games. These are video games. This is where it's going. It told a story. It looked well for the time, or even the 3D version, which Miyamoto and Nintendo have said that's what they originally wanted the game to look like. That 3D version is a lot closer to its concept art than this game. They had to do a lot of cutbacks, and they had to sacrifice some stuff because of the hardware on this. So the 3D version is supposed to be the more faithful, not rendition, but like the more faithful account to the concept art. That it looks beautiful even then, or even the port. It's all fantastic, and nothing can ever replace those feelings or that feeling. Getting the Deku shield for the first time, getting your sword for the first time, getting the Hylian shield, seeing Dompe, doing that damn race, watching the bombs explode, seeing a Dodongo in 3D for the first time, visiting Zelda, sneaking through the garden, finding Ganondorf in the first area, in the first dungeon as adult Link. You get the Phantom Ganon. You're thinking it's real Ganon, and then oh crap, it's Phantom Ganon in and out of paintings, and then finding Ganon in the tower, and he's got Princess Zelda in the diamond, the purple diamond thing, and then he stops Navi from working, and you've relied on Navi the entire game, and then suddenly you can't use her for this portion of the fight, and then him transforming into Ganon, and the first time that Canon, which, not to be confused with Ganon, but Canon was even brought into the fold of like trying to figure out, well, yeah, they're all individual stories and they're all individual links, but if there was a canon, how would it look like? What would it be like? And the 3 timelines from the game, I can't, even years after this game, it just had a lot of mystery about it, and things that you wanted to learn, like learning the 3 timelines and the split timeline and all that, and learning about all of that. I love the Legend of Zelda timeline, even though it does kind of seem hobbled together. It's still all fantastic, and the game brought out all the emotions as a kid for me, even as an adult for me, watching the great Deku Tree die and wither. Oh, Navi, thou hast returned. And I've tried doing a Let's Play of this before. I wanted to do an HD version, but I wanted to do the 3DS version. I couldn't record the 3DS version, so I tried an emulator with like an HD texture pack, but the game just played like crap because it was an emulator. And then, I wanted to do like maybe the, this version that I'm playing right now on the Wii, but I wanted to do the prettier versions, and I just couldn't get to it or do it, or like I had to want to do it, and I just couldn't. And Oh, this game. Walking into, like, you don't even know where the first dungeon is gonna be, but then he opens his mouth and you walk in and suddenly you're at the first dungeon. So quickly, I might add. Pretty quickly. I mean, yeah, trying to get the first 40 rupees is a little, kind of a little hard for, like, newcomers, and so it might take you a while to do all that, but just... this game, guys. The music, the emotion, the story, everything. And Majora's Mask. No, I take that back from my list. Second on my Legend of Zelda rankings is Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask is a fantastic sequel. It uses this engine with upgraded, a little bit upgraded, so a little bit better graphics, a little bit better of an engine. It uses like the 4 megabyte expansion pack on the N64, for example. It's like one of the only games that requires it. Perfect Dark, for example, like will barely run without it. Or it runs a little bit slower, and even with it in, it runs choppy as shit. I just cannot say too much about this game and Majora's Mask. Oh my god, Majora's Mask, the feels in that game. It's such a dark tone. Ugh, I love The Legend of Zelda. I will always love The Legend of Zelda, and this will always be my favorite game in that series. Ever. Guys, got some sad news. This is the last episode in the Nintendo Retrospective. But I hear what you're saying. Wait, Brad, you said there was 26 planned episodes. This is episode 25. Right. I'm doing a top 25. The next video is the lists video. It's compiling the footage that I've gotten so far with a script that I'm going to literally start writing right now. I'm recording this. I record these in bulk. So the 26th video should be coming out in about 5 days from the time I'm recording this. So once I'm done, I'm going to edit some of the videos, and then I'm going to start working on that script like right away. That's going to be the list video, compiling a little bit of Nintendo history because it's for their 125th anniversary, and then I'm going to go into my top 25 in one video. So that's going to be the next. That's going to be the next episode, immediately following this in the playlist. So please consider subscribing, thumbsing it up, and sending it to your friend if you like this series so far. And if you haven't seen it, subscribe and go back and watch it. And if you haven't seen the list video, please go watch that for me. I'd greatly appreciate it if you would also send it to your friends and spread the word, spread the love, if you will, for my channel. It's starting to grow slowly, but I want it to grow. I want it to grow more and more and more. Remember, guys, no matter what system it is, no matter what type of game it is, no matter what company makes it, what developer makes it, or where you play it, just play more games, guys. And I will see you next time.